Hey guys, so welcome to this video. And in this video we're coming to be talking about conditions. Okay, conditional sentences, conditions. Okay, conditions. And conditions usually go with if, right? If statements, so we call them if statements. Okay, if you are new to it, I'm sure you probably have an idea of what if statement means. If you're already into other programming languages, I'm sure you already know what this is, if statement. All right, so it's true in life. Before you make every decision, you consider a lot of conditions, right? A lot of factors. That's what this if statement does. As a programmer, it allows you to be able to consider different scenarios, okay, so that you can be able to make write good code, okay, so that whatever you're writing will be dynamic enough. Do you understand? To be dynamic. In the coming videos, we'll be doing a lot of projects. Right now, we just want to get the basics, but in the coming videos, we're doing a lot of projects which will be seeing how these things can be useful. Okay, so now a lot of times when you're writing if statements, you'll be doing comparing. Okay, you'll be comparing something with something. Most of the time, that's what happens. You'll be comparing something with something to see if this one is equal to this, or if this one is greater than this, or if this one is this one is less than this, or if this one is not this. I think we should do some coding so that you get the idea. Okay, now I have a variable called, okay, I will not call it anything. I will assign it to a number called 5. Okay, number 5. The number is 5, it's not called 5. And another variable b. Okay, so I'm coming to say a is greater than b. Okay, let's ask it to print whatever it is. It should print whatever it is. Print a is greater than b, and let's see. This is false. A is not greater than, because a is 5. All right, so now operations. Okay, a lot of operations that Python allows. Okay, I can't say almost, I can't say all because I have not used all of them, but I know Python allows most of the um, mathematical operations I've come across. Okay, and it's working just fine. You can even use Python for differential equations if you want to. Anyways, so you'll be using things like is greater than, is less than, equals to. Now this equals to, you see there are two of them, equal signs. This one is used for comparing. Is a the same as b? That's what basically this one means. Equals to, the one you usually say equals to. How different is this from this? Now this one is assignment. Okay, this one is actually equals to, like comparing. So this one is for assignment purposes. Let me just put it there. Oh. So this one is for assignment purposes. Okay, and this one is for comparing. Okay. For comparing. Okay, so this one is for comparing, this one is for assignment. Okay, you should get the difference by now. It's I think I've not talked about it, but it's a good thing it popped up. So this one is for assignment. Now you're asking it to check if a is the same as b. Let's see what it says. It's false. It's not the same as b. Okay, so you are seeing booleans at work here. It's either true or false. You are seeing booleans at work here. Let's try if a is less than, or okay, if a is less than b. Is that true? It's saying yes, a is actually less than b. So now why am I bringing this up when I come to talk about conditions? Remember I told you that to be comparing. Okay, now if statements, to use if statements, you would be using something like this, if. That's why they are called if statements. They start with if. So now if, then you bring your condition. I'm just going to put something here. You bring your condition here, then you put a semicolon. Okay, and come down. If condition is true, or okay, what do you want it to do? What to do? All right, I'm just going to give you the structure for the if and elif. So now this is not code. Okay, this is just how do I put this? This is just step by step, a step by step way of understanding how if statement works. Now it starts with an if, then the condition. What do you want to check? So you want to say if, let's say if a is greater than b, then what should it do? If a is greater than b, what should it do? Okay, now if a is not greater than b, does it just stop, or what should it do? Then you say elif. Okay, maybe a is not greater than b. Check if a is equals to b. All right, so that's check if a is the same as b. and then it checks this one too. That's this condition. And it says if it were true, it would have done this. Okay, but it's not true. So it means it didn't run this loop. It didn't run this loop. It comes here. It continues to check for different conditions you've given it. Okay, and if none of them is true, it's just going to do this default thing. Whatever is here, it's just going to do it. Now, the point here is that it's looking for a true answer. Okay, something that is true. So you could just say if true. If this is true, whatever condition is here, if it's true, it's just going to run this one. Now, if whatever condition here is not true, it's not going to run anything here. It's coming down to check this elif. If that condition is also not true, it's going to ignore what's inside it. It's coming to check this one. It's like when something is sniffing just to find something in particular it's looking for. So actually sniffing to find a true in your conditions. Wherever there's a true, it stops there. It doesn't actually go to the next one. Or you understand? So wherever there's a false, it skips. It doesn't even bother checking through properly. Where there's a true, it stops and runs whatever is inside that true code. Okay, I think you are getting it. If you're not getting it, let's just try an example so that you can get it. Oh, okay. So now let's try an example. I'm just going to use these two A and B to work out an if statement on this. So if A is greater than B, if A is greater than B, then you indent it. Make sure that whatever suite is here or block of code you want it to run should be indented into that if statement. That's very important. So what do you want it to do? Print, let's say print A is greater than B. Okay. Alright. And you say elif. That means else if A is equals to B. Alright. And print they are equal. Or it's the same. They are equal. Equal. They are equal. Else print my type. Else print what should I print? If none of these work, print I don't know what to say. Print boom. Okay. Just print none works. Okay. That's more logical to think about. Okay. Alright. So it's going to check to see if this condition is true. If it's not true, it's going to check to see if this condition is true. If it's not true, it's going to check. Okay, this one is not going to check anything. It's just going to print this one. If all of these ones fail, you see, I'm missing F in my statement. All right, so let's see. Oh, okay, it says none worked. It means that none worked. This one didn't work. This one didn't work. This one. So it had to bring out this one. So now let's make a condition probably here. Then you see that they are equal. Okay, so if A is less than B, print A is less. Okay, if A is less than B, print A is less. A is less. Easy, because this condition is true. So equally, you could have just said if true. No. Do you understand? You could have just said if true, then you give it whatever condition you want, and it's always going to work. Okay, that means you really need this elif and else. Now elif is optional. You can do without it. Okay, and just go back one step. Okay, some few steps, and remove this elif. Now elif is optional. Okay, you don't need it. You can say if this is true, then do this. Otherwise, just do this. Okay. You can also ignore the else. Usually they go together, but it's you can do without the else. Okay, that means that if this if doesn't work, your whatever condition is just going to be left floating. It's always good practice to go with else. Okay, so that you know what's happening. But you can do without the else. So that's usually people call them if else statements or if elif statements. Now in other languages you see them as switch and else and other things, but generally that's it. All right. Now you can tell it do this if this is true. Basically the previous one was if this is true do this, but you can also say do this if this is true. You understand? Like what we had in the previous okay, like this. I'm just going to remove this one. Now you can always bring this one up here. Okay, it doesn't really matter. Okay, you can always bring this one up here and then it would work. Now let's try this. Let's see print yeah, print yes if true. Okay, if true, remember your true should be a distant what's the name, it should be a capital letter. You understand? Okay, so let's run it. Oh, oh, else print um no. Okay, so the thing is, this one is usually if you have short codes when we come to deal with lambda functions, okay, if there like if your function or whatever you want to compare or whatever you want to write the code about is not so long, you can always use this one. I find it confusing. I'm not really a fan of it, but it's okay. Now it's how do you interpret it? It says that do this if this is true. Okay, now this is true. You can always say like b is greater than a from these values. Okay, just that I decided to interchange them with true because I know the answer will be true. So print b is greater than a, like print yes if b is greater than a, else print no. Okay, and it's going to work. You can also choose to um, there are conditions. Okay, there are conditions. All right. There are also um other ways of doing comparison. Okay, now perhaps you want to compare a lot of things like c is equals to what's the name, c is equals to 4. Okay, you want to do a lot of comparing. Now you can say if a is greater than sorry if a is greater than b, or or b is greater than c, print how do you print yay. Okay, all right, and then you run. It says yay. It means that one of these conditions is true. One of them is true. Is a greater than b? No, no. Is b greater than c? Yep. So it's able to print this one because it's able to print yay because this one is true. Now if you use and, okay, if you use and, let's see what we get. It says no, none of them is true. If you had added an else here, it would have actually given you an answer. So else print the else. Else should be in the same line with the f. Okay. Else print no. Okay. I want my oath to remain. So okay. So it says no. Why? Because it checked and this one is not true, but this one is true. But even though this one is true, the condition says and. So when you use and, what it means is that both sides have to be true. Whatever you are comparing, both sides have to be true for it for an end to work. Okay. Yeah. And if you are using an or, it means any of the sides can be true. If any of the sides is true, that's fine. And means both sides have to be true. I think you are getting the idea there. Good. Now you can also have like ifs inside f. So um you can say check if a is greater than b or b is greater than c. Then you can come here and say if that's true, so it means if one of them is true, then you now come here and check again. Check if b is greater than c. Or did I already do that? Okay, check if a is greater than c. Alright. And then if that's true, you print second f. Okay. And then you run it. Second f. It means that this one of them was true because of the or and it worked. Now it came inside to check another if statement. And this one too was true because a is 5 is greater than 4 and that's true. So it printed this one. Now if this one was not true, it wouldn't have come here at all. But because this one is true, it considered the rest of the code. Okay. I think by now you've gotten a pretty good idea of how if statements work. Okay, with more examples and more projects, I'm sure you get a clear understanding of it. Next time we'll be doing while loops. Okay, so stay tuned and subscribe to my channel. Please don't forget to subscribe. All right, I'll see you in the next video.